The devil's advocate about games not being art has been delayed. Upon reading it for the 10th time, I didn't like how it sounded, so it's time to jump onto the bandwagon and talk about a topic that just can't stop staying out of the headlines. Konami. Oh, Konami, we need to talk. I have never seen a company try so hard and so fast to destroy themselves. On purpose. In just a few short months, you've weighed Lace to as much as you possibly could. You reduced Kojima from an employee to a contractor, you removed his name and development studio from Metal Gear Solid 5, cancelled Silent Hills, and treating your employees like crap, filed false DMCAs against YouTubers in an attempt to silence them, and you've been bastardizing series that we love in an attempt to capitalize on the name alone. But let's take each topic at a time. When it was hinted that Kojima was leaving Konami, we thought it was weird and wondered what would happen to the Metal Gear series. But it was actually something that I saw coming, because we saw other famous people in the gaming industry leave the big companies to form their own development studios outside of a corporate system. I only thought it was a matter of time before Kojima did the same, but I thought it was rather weird that his name and studio were being removed from the game. But then Konami canceled Silent Hills and left it to Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus to announce it. And then a letter leaked that the CEO of Konami is on a warpath, hating Kojima because he uses too much money and takes too much time to make games and is trying to force him to leave. Which is in line with the recent leak on how Konami is treating its employees, reassigning them to janitorial or security jobs in their other businesses they operate like workout centers and pachinko machine factories. If an employee announced that they were leaving the company on social media and the other employees reacted positively to it, they were reassigned to completely different places in the company. They're monitoring the movements of their employees, not for security reasons, but to see where they are. Their breaks are heavily monitored, and if they're late by a few minutes, Konami publicly shames them by announcing it. They've reshuffled employees' email addresses every few months. It's all very Orwellian, like they're living in the book 1984. It's just a horrible way of treating your employees. They're squandering talent by reassigning developers to menial labor. No wonder why employees want to leave the company. They said that they're still committed to making Metal Gear games, but I have a hard time believing that. They canceled Silent Hills and announced a Silent Hill pachinko machine. They announced a Castlevania slot machine and using erotic violence as a selling point. They're at the forefront trying to legalize gambling in Japan. Yeah, gambling is illegal in Japan. To get prizes from pachinko winnings requires jumping through hoops. And they were also trying to get skill-based gambling machines legalized here in America. And they're adopting a mobile-first type of mentality, claiming how it's huge in Japan and it's more profitable because they can be made with small teams and rake in huge profits from ads and microtransactions. It sounds like they're going to take EA's approach to Dungeon Keeper Mobile, making games where you cannot do a thing unless you pay them massive amounts of money in microtransactions. Is this how they're planning to keep those franchises alive through free-to-play mobile games and gambling machines? For the love of God, just sell your video game division and your intellectual property and get out of the gaming industry. Don't bastardize all your properties because you're seeing dollar signs that may not be there. And when the news of the CEO trying to force Kojima out and being on a warpath was reported by, I think, Super Bunny Hop, they filed a DMCA takedown to silence him, which YouTube went ahead and undid themselves because they knew it was a load of crap. At least with Sega, they were upfront and honest. They said that they were going to focus more on mobile gaming because they've been ignoring that market. That's how I took the news on their announcement, and they did say that they were not going to ignore consoles and PC markets. They even acknowledged that they betrayed fans and are going to work hard to gain that trust back, which was announced before they released their profit reports showing a 40% drop. So I would believe them when they said that they're going to work on rebuilding that trust, as that drop in profits more than likely has a connection to the overall quality of games they've released in the past couple of years. Konami, on the other hand, seems really hell-bent on burning everything to the ground and screwing the consequences. If Konami came out and said that the the reason they're doing what they're doing is because they're going bankrupt and it was a way of trying to keep afloat, I'd be more understanding of their cancellation of Silent Hills because they couldn't afford it. I'd get why they'd want Kojima gone since he uses a lot of money. It would make sense to re-sign employees to different lower paying positions instead of outright firing them, as they could go back to programming when the company was doing better financially. But it would not excuse the George Orwell's 1984 treatment of their employees. At some point, Konami needs to come to their senses, because they're burning bridges a lot faster than they can build new ones, if they can even build new ones.